April virtual homeowner maintenance event. This month we are covering yard maintenance and getting things spring ready now that the weather's warmed up. We ask you to please participate, ask questions. We'll be doing a Q&A at the end. And I have Mark here, who is one of our warranty superintendents. He'll be covering all things spring prep. He is a published author, a well-known warranty superintendent, one of our top customer care guys. He's our 5-star Mark.
Thank you very much, Taylor. By the way, those of you who don't know, this was Taylor Gray. She's brand new for doing the videos, but is a veteran in the office there. She's one of those young ladies you will contact on the phone, and she is willing and ready to take care of all your concerns and get the appropriate people out to your home for those warranty and home care issues. So, as Taylor said, yes, we're doing a little loud out here a little bit. Issues with the yard. What do we need to do? The irrigation is not in yet. That free water, as everybody considers it. How do we deal with it? It's getting warm. Our yards are looking a little peaked. And I think we picked out a great yard for that issue. It's looking a little peaked. What do we do to get this thing going for the irrigation water, we'll say? Okay, so let's start with the fact of, yes, if I spoke to you personally at your home, I always talk about less water, more fertilizer. I cannot emphasize a specific brand, obviously, but I'm looking at the issue of there's an array of different products out there you can certainly choose from. I mean, you have Zanzos with their lineup, you have Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Seeds, you have the issue of spikes for your particular shrubs and trees. I've talked about those with homeowners as well. Zanzos has a food program for their particular issues of customers. I mean, it's a great scenario. You get 4 feedings basically for your lawn a year. If I'm not mistaken, you get a lawn spreader you can use. I mean, that's a good deal in that situation. You also have the spray issues of organic garden feeding. You have another issue with Miracle Grow. I think I got all the big ones here in names. All of the products are very, very good. Don't get me wrong on that. Okay? So let's start with the issue of water. Okay, so watering. If I look at this sprinkler over here that I have set up, yeah, I'm right in the middle of the yard, kind of. And I want to get this sprinkler set up so we have a natural spray. And basically, a rule of thumb I always go by, less is more. I'll water the yard, yes. If you're going more than 5 minutes in one spot, you gotta stop. You really do. Because what's happening is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna pull up a piece of sod here, and in turn, this is all we have for nutrients. So once this becomes saturated, the soil below is much harder. And what's going to happen, it is going to run underneath each one of these issues of the sod, and it's going to go right down on the sidewalk and into the street and right down into the, obviously, sewers. That's way over watering, okay? Typically speaking, 5 minutes seems to be the right issue, okay? Less is more. And you're going to say, well, why is my yard looking tannish brown, very much like this one? Yes, water does help. However, I have never known of the soil, which is clay and rock, technically it's called Class C soil, to have nutrients. So therefore, as I say, more fertilizer for the nutrients and less water, okay? Will you burn out your yard? No. If you have the appropriate amount of each, you'll have your yard seriously looking greener than Dublin on St. Paddy's Day. It will green up. It will do what it needs to do for making a nice, lush yard for you and your family. Okay, so what do I do? Well, I'm going to pop this sprinkler on. Yes, right now I just got a little hose going out there. My little sprinkler. sprinkler. I'm gonna pop this on. Here we go. Yeah, just like that. Get the bubbles out, all the air pockets. Yep, just like that. I don't want to be on the sidewalk. I want to be just like so. So I'm covering the grass, and I want to go for 5 minutes. Okay, so while that's going on, here's my tree. Well, that too needs nutrients. So, again, these particular products, this happens to be a tree secret, it says. And if you look at the back, it'll give you mixing ingredients of what you need to do. For example, right here, if your tree trunk happens to be 1 inch, 1 cup of water per 1 gallon. So what I did is actually took this nice little bucket I have, courtesy of Franklin Lumber, ironically, and I dumped in basically 2 cups of that product, mixed it with the water, and I'm simply coming over and I'm just going to pour some right around the base of the tree. That's all I need to do. If there's another tree or shrub, for example, right around this corner here, I see a shrub, I'm going to do the same with the shrub. I'm just pouring it right into that issue of the base of the shrub. That's all I need to do. Just mix it up and dump it in. Very, very simple process. Even I can do this one. But you do have to measure. That was a tricky thing for me. Okay? So, with that being said, we got that taken care of. Lawn stakes. If I don't want to do the fluid, I can go with this. Happens to be 15 stakes. However, this is specifically for evergreen or conifer. Conifer is a cone-bearing tree, hence the name softwoods or conifers. This is specifically designed for softwoods or conifers or pine trees. If I look at our tree, well, this is not a obviously pine tree. It is a leaf-bearing tree. It is a deciduous tree, so therefore these spikes would not work for this particular tree. So make sure you're getting the right product for what you want for your particular yard. Okay? This product from Zamzows happens to be working very well. It is the same issue. Deals with deciduous trees as well as shrubs. Again, same issue. Mix it up. 1 cup per gallon. Go around, dump it into the particular base of the tree. You will do just fine. Okay? Now, this issue. You will find yourself at different points finding powder products out there. Can I do this like I did when I say growing up in inner city Minneapolis? Did we have all the fine, neat stuff? The answer is no. So we found ourselves basically standing out in our yards in many cases with a garden hose and the old-fashioned sprayers and just spraying the yard. Well, to enhance that, you can pick this up dealing with garden feed, okay? I would put in the chemical that I want or the particular fertilizer product I want, hook it to the garden hose, and spray away. So let me try this real quick. I'm going to stop him for a moment. We have a little budget cut issue. We can't, here's a perfect example. How long did I have this water on? Look, it does not absorb into the ground. This is a perfect example of how much should I water and how much should I not. Okay, does that make sense? This is only on for what? 3-4 minutes tops. Clay does not accept moisture. You got to be very careful. I'm actually on call this weekend for emergency. Had a call the other night. I have water in my yard. It's flooding in. What am I supposed to do? What's the address? I'm on my way. Gentleman calls me back maybe 4 or 5 minutes later. Stop, don't come. What's the problem? My neighbor, unfortunately, doesn't understand the soils and had the water running all afternoon. It ran off of her yard into his yard and therefore flooded the back half of his yard. Great learning experience, as I told the gentleman who called me. Please explain to your neighbor. Unfortunately, the types of soils that we have in this part of the state are all Class C soil, clay and rock. There's an old story of dealing with this issue of the soil itself. We would say, well, Class C soil is like a rap. You go ba 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 ba, and you put the C in front of rap, and you get, that's the kind of soil that we have. Okay? Now, let's go back to the issue of hooking up my little fertilizer here. So I'm going to spin him off. Let's say I want to use my Miracle Grow. Pop this open. I'm going to hook him back up. It can tell me what type of sprayer I'm going to use. Let's say I'm going to go to a flat issue of a spray, which you will see right here on the dial. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, kind of it says flat, or you'll have this issue of a shower, like you're taking a shower in the shower, or you can do a jet. Well, we don't want jet. Shower might be, let's try that first. What the heck? Okay, so we're going to hook him up. Got it. Get back to my little nozzle here, open up the hose bib, and here we go. What do we get here? Turn it on, maybe. There we go. And I can just walk around the yard if I don't have a spreader per se, and basically give my lawn a much needed drink of water, as well as having nutrients going into the yard as well, which is very much needed in this case. Okay, because when you start seeing the tans, that tells me immediately your yard needs something to eat. It needs fertilizer. It needs something to grow upon. Okay? So I'll go around the whole yard and basically do this type of thing, and I will be very pleased, probably in about 3 or 4 days, to start seeing the tan turn to green, except when the hose kinks up. Again. There we go. So you just work your way around the yard, and I'm going to come up to this issue right here now. The flags. They're there for you to understand there is a sprinkler head here. Okay? For sprinkler heads, please understand, some sprinkler heads will dispense up to 2 gallons a minute. So if you have your sprinkler clock set for, let's say, 5 minutes, 5 times 2 is what? 10. This head, just this one, is going to dispense 10 gallons of water out when it's on its time. So please understand that if you have multiple heads in a particular area, like you should, yes, you're having a lot of water on your yard. Typically speaking, it's not the water it needs. It really needs the nutrients. Okay? That's what we need in the yards. All right? Now, people will say, I got a dry spot. We all have dry spots in our yards. I'm in an established home. We've been in the home about 20 years. Do I have dry spots? Yes. Will the sprinklers cover all of it? No, they are not doing it. We know this, you know this. Frankly, it is almost impossible for a lot of us to get out there and set sprinklers, sprinkler heads to cover all of that issue of every single square inch. It is physically impossible for a lot of us to do those types of things. Basically, you know, if you have the time, you can work with that, fantastic. But have us coming out and saying, well, there's one spot by the stop sign right there that's dry. I would just water by hand. Simply That is the easiest method. Make sure we have a nice green yard. And make sure, obviously, we have nutrients. That's the key. So, if you have questions, feel free to give us a call in. I'm going to turn this over to Taylor now, and we'll go from there. Thank you again, and enjoy your beautiful spring day here in Idaho.
Some of our homeowners did have a couple questions for you, Mark, so if I could snag you to help with those, that would be spectacular.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So first question was, when is irrigation water turning on?
That I do not know. Okay. I suspect you'll find it in the next couple of weeks. The canals will start filling up. With canals filling up, and those of you with kids, please be extremely careful. The water is extremely cold. It's very fast. It's very dangerous. So please keep your kids and animals away from those canals. They're very, very dangerous. So please be aware of that. So I do not know the exact date.
Okay. The best way, one of the best ways to confirm that date is to reach out to your HOA specifically. They'll have better information on your specific area's watering times and when that irrigation system will be turning on. The other questions that we have a lot of questions about frequency, how long they should water, how often they should fertilize, that sort of thing.
Okay.
How would you best navigate that question?
That one I would go with the issue of very simple. If you're going more than 5 minutes on your lawn a day, that's max. Seriously. As you saw right up there when I was playing around in the water there, I don't think that sprinkler was on much more than 3 or 4 minutes, and it had a puddle. Clay does not absorb moisture, so please understand that. Again, fertilizer, there's different programs out there. I know one particular store offers a program. They'll give you 4 feedings a year, okay? Me personally at my own home, yes, my wife has signed us up for that, which is fantastic, because you can't get 4 bags of fertilizer for less than probably $200, okay? So what I do, it's very simple, is this. Yes, on the furthest left-hand side happens to be a product that I use for myself personally. I will put that on in our yard. Just did it last weekend, okay? So I'm going to wait a couple of weeks. Then the product, basically next to that nice little blue Franklin brand, I put another dose on. Basically what I'm telling you is I fertilized my yard last year alone 8 times. So every time we had a feeding from this particular firm, about 2 weeks later, I gave another feeding to my yard. So that should space things out. That will keep things nice and green. And I think it'll be very successful with that.
Okay, that covers a lot of the things. We had questions about the tree secret, how often to do that, how often to use various products. Would you say that the bag itself has that information on it?
Well, a lot of the products do, yes.
Okay.
This particular one, it will tell you specifically, okay, roses and shrubs and roses, vegetable plants and so on, house plants. It'll tell you how much. Half of a cup, 1 gallon of water, evenly spread monthly. Okay, they're going monthly on this one. Make sure the ground, so on, so on, so on. Again, probably monthly. Lawns, if you want to add it to your issue of a yard, 6 gallons of water per 2 cups, whatever the case may be. Again, it's all what you want to apply and how much you want to expend, basically. Each one of these gallons is obviously a dollar value. And if you want to apply more, will you get more green? Yes, you will. Where you run into problems where people will say, I'm burning out my lawn, is when you get to the granular and you have it across your yard and you don't have adequate moisture. Because we're out here, we're adding fertilizer, we're adding the water, and it'll be a very nice scenario. If we added product and we went 2 weeks and we see no improvement, then I would say yes, you need to start looking at changing things out. Okay?
All right. right. Well,
Any other questions?
I think that's it. That covers it. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We will reveal the $50 Home Depot gift card winner here in just a bit on our Facebook page within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you so much, and make sure that you comment with any suggestions that you have for next month's video, and contact customer care if you have any questions or requests for any future videos. Thanks so much.